أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome everybody to another one of your G2 classes today. I hope you're all doing well, and jazakumullah to everybody for arriving to the class today on time. As always, we're going to start off our class with an opening prayer. So if I could request our co-host to call a student to the mic. Assalamu alaikum, co-host.
Walaikum Assalam. Can I request student G2624 to unmute their mic?
Jazakumullah. Student G2624. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah for asking. So could you please start off with ta'awudh and tasmiyah? And are you able to recite this prayer on your own, or would you like me to lead you into the recitation?
I can do it on my own.
Perfect. So whenever you're ready, you can start.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا.
Well done, mashallah. That was really, really nicely recited. Could you also read out the English translation for us?
Oh Allah, I ask you for beneficial knowledge.
Perfect. And that's Ibn Majah hadith number 925. Perfect, student G2 624. That was really, really nicely recited. Jazakumullah for coming to the mic. Take care, and Allah Hafiz for now.
Jazakallah.
Perfect. So let's move on to the next part of our class and quickly just remind ourselves of our class etiquettes. Make sure you've joined the class today, having done your wudu. Make sure you're wearing clean clothes and that your head is also covered. And also sit in a quiet place if possible, as a lot of the background noise can divert attention, and it's also very hard for us to hear you through the mics. So if you can, try and sit in a quiet place. And also make sure you've signed in with the correct IDs, as we are only allowed to call the correct IDs to the mic, okay? So if you can check if you signed in with the correct ID now, that'd be perfect. And before we proceed on to our class schedule, can I remind everyone, our co-host has kindly dropped a link into the chat box, whereby if you click that link, it will take you to a Google form for you to submit in your attendance. So you will type in your ID and you will submit the form in. It should only take a couple of seconds. So if you could do that for me now, or maybe even later on during the lesson, that would be amazing. Try not to leave it till too late though, okay? So in terms of our schedule for today, we are going to be focusing on a rule, in particularly Hamza on Waw and Ya, and we'll be talking to you through some of the examples where this rule would be applied, okay? And then later on, inshallah, we shall call some students to the mic to go over the practice text as well. And today in particular, we'll be focusing on chapter number 26, verses 202 to 228. Okay. So let's there we go. Let's talk about this rule. Let's start off with Hamza on Waw. So I'm pretty sure when you're reciting the Holy Quran, you would have come across many, many examples where here, for example, there is a Waw with a Hamza and a stroke. And you ask yourself, well, what do? Do I make the sound of the Waw and the Dhamma? Do I make the sound of the Hamza and the Dhamma? Or do I just ignore the letter? What should we do in those situations? Well, a lot of the time, the Waw will have a Hamza, which will be carrying either a Dhamma or any form of tanween. And the thing to bear in mind is that you need to give priority to the Hamza. So we will recite the stroke of the Hamza, okay, and we will ignore the Waw. So I'll repeat that one more time. Whenever you see a hamza on top of a vowel, you ignore the vowel and you prioritize the hamza. In other words, you pronounce the hamza with its stroke. So give it the correct sound, okay? Ignoring the vowel altogether. So if we take a look at this first example, if I read this out for you, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يبدأ. Okay. Now, I did not make the sound of the vowel here, because remember it has a hamza on top. Hamza will take priority. And that's something you can see in this example here as well. They've just shown the hamza. This is how you should be reciting it. يبدأ. And we are ignoring the vowel. Okay. Let's take a look at the next example. So let me get rid of that. Amazing. So I'm going to read this out for you. آباؤنا آباؤنا. Okay, so again, this is how I read it. I gave the sound of the hamza, ignoring the vowel as if it's not there. So hamza will take priority. Okay, let's call a couple of students to the mic just to practice this rule a bit more. So co-host, could we have a student to the mic for that?
Student G2739, come to the mic, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good too, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah for asking. So have you been understanding this rule of hamza on vowel so far?
Yes.
Yeah. So what should you do if there is a vowel with a hamza? Do you give the sound of the hamza or the vowel?
Hamza.
Good. Well done, mashallah. So if you could start off with ta'awudh and tasmiyah, and if you could recite these two examples for me, please.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أمر
Good. Well done. Just remember the ra carries what on top? What does it carry on top?
I can't remember.
Okay, no worries. It carries a dhamma. What does it carry?
Adama.
A dhamma. And how long should you give a dhamma? Like how long should you prolong a letter for if it carries a dhamma?
2 counts.
Okay, so it should just be one second or one count, yeah? 2 counts will be if it is, can you see this inverted dhamma here?
Yes.
That would be the case where you would give it 2 seconds or 2 counts. But in the case of a normal dhamma, normal fatha, normal kasra, you just give it a 1 second timing. They're called short strokes, okay?
Okay.
So try not to stretch out the sound of the ra. So if you could repeat after me. Imru'un.
Imru'un.
Perfect. And try not to give a jerking sound. Just join the alif and mim nicely together. Imru'un.
Imru'un.
Good. Well done. That was really, really nicely recited. So what did you do here then, in particular?
I stretched it.
Sort of. You said un and you held on to the sound of the noon. But what I was trying to get at is the fact that you ignored the vowel and you made the sound of the hamza, yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect. Could you also just read out the next example for us?
أولجاؤهن.
Okay, you recited that really, really nicely. And what I really like is you've got your timings correct as well this time, which is really good. Just remember, this is an inverted dhamma. It's not a double-stroked dhamma. So it's not tanween. So you're just going to stretch the sound out of the ha. So if you could repeat after me. أولياؤه.
أولجاؤها.
Okay, one more time. Uhu.
Uhu.
Good, well done. Do you know what this ha is carrying on top here, this little sign?
No.
Okay, so this is called a madd saghir, and you should prolong a letter that carries a madd saghir for 3 to 5 seconds. How long should you prolong it for?
3 to 5 seconds.
Good, amazing, perfect. Well, that was really nice to recite a student G2 739. I can see you've understood the rules so far. I will recommend, however, that you do recap your previous rules as well. That's very, very important. Okay?
And do you know I finished my Holy Quran?
Oh, really? Mashallah. When did you finish it?
It was like not few days ago, but a long time.
Oh, okay, mashallah. That's really, really good to hear. Keep reciting it. Once you finish it once, just keep reading it and you become very, very fluent in it. But I'm very, very happy for you. And Jazakumullah for sharing that with us. But Jazakumullah for coming to the mic today. Keep practicing and inshallah you'll get there very soon, okay?
Okay, bye.
Take care. Allah Hafiz. Okay, amazing. So let's move on to the next part. So we learnt about a situation where you could have a Hamza appear on a vowel. Now we're going to talk about a Hamza appearing on a Ya. Okay? So sometimes when you're reading the Quran, you will come across situations where there will be a Ya carrying a Hamza with a stroke. And in those situations or in those cases, you need to fully ignore the Ya and recite the Hamza instead. And its stroke, of course. So that's literally exactly the same rule as Hamza on vowel, except that with Hamza on vowel, the Hamza will appear either with a Dhamma or Tanween, and with Hamza on Ya, it could come with any haraka or with any stroke, okay? So yeah, exactly the same thing applies here. Ya with a Hamza, you prioritize the Hamza and you fully ignore the Ya, okay? So if we take a look at the first example here, and if I read this out for you, Al-Bari'u, Al-Bari'u. So just like it says here at the end, we just made the sound of the Hamza. This is what we're saying in reality, even though there is a Ya there, but we are ignoring the Ya altogether. So co-host, could we have another student to the mic to practice this rule?
And student G2 676, come to the mic, please.
Jazakumullah. Student G2676, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah for asking. So did you understand the rules so far?
Yes.
Perfect. What should you do when you're reciting the Holy Quran and you come across a Ya with a Hamza? What sound do you make?
You should fully ignore the ya and make the Hamza sound because Hamza has more priority over ya.
Good, well done. In this situation, the Hamza is miniature Hamza, and if it appears on top of the vowel or Ya, the Hamza will take priority. Well done. That was really, really nicely answered. I can see you've understood that. Now, could you please start off with the Awwad and the Tasmiyah, and if you could recite these next two examples for me, please?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قرئ بالقاء.
Well done, mashallah, mashallah. That was really, really nicely recited. Lost my language there. And yes, I love the melody you've applied to your recitation as well. So that's really, really good, mashallah. So yeah, you've applied the rule well and very nicely. Just before I let you go, could you remind me of what this sign is called over here?
Samad Kabir.
Good, well done. And if a letter carries a madd kabir, how long do you reckon we should prolong it for?
46 counts.
Good, well done, mashallah. I'm very, very happy with how well you've answered the questions today. Jazakumullah for coming to the mic and keep practicing. Inshallah, you'll get very, very fluent soon, inshallah. Okay?
Okay, Allah Hafiz.
All right, take care. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Amazing. So, that was really, really nicely recited. Now, just a quick recap before we move on to our recitations. Whenever you see a hamza on a vowel, or whenever you see a hamza on a ya, you will make the sound of hamza, and obviously the sound of the stroke it's carrying. So if the hamza is carrying a dhamma, you give an u sound. If it carries a kasra, you give an e sound. Okay, so you will make the sound of hamza alongside the sound of its stroke as well, bearing that in mind. And you will ignore the ya and the vowel altogether. Okay, so that was that, and that's the rule for today. Now let's take a look at our practice text. So it's amazing because in the first verse you can already see an example of vowel with hamza, and we'll be talking about that shortly as well. So we'll be calling some students to the mic now to practice. Quick reminder, when you are called to the mic, make sure you apply all the rules to your recitations. That gives us a sort of an indication as to how much you've understood the rules and how well you can apply them. Okay, so take your time with the recitations, and if you've got any questions, feel free to ask us as well. Okay. All right, so co-host, could we have a first student to the mic for this practice part?
And student G2 721, unmute their mic.
Jazakumullah. Student G2 721, Assalamu alaikum. Student G2 721, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good too, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah for asking. So did you understand the rule for today?
Yes.
Yes, amazing. So when you're reciting today, make sure you apply that rule to the recitation, okay?
Okay.
Amazing. Let's start off with the awud and tasmiyah, and you can start reciting from here for me.
Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. La yu'minuna bihi hatta yarawul azab al-alim fayatiyahum baghtahum la yash'urun.
Okay, well done, mashallah. I'm going to stop you right here. That was really, really nicely recited, student G2 721. Great recitation, mashallah. I can see one thing I'm very happy with your recitation is your timing. There's only one place where I thought we could give more attention to the timing, and we'll get there in a moment. But overall, the timing was spot on. And you did pronounce the majority of the letters correctly as well, which is really, really good. Now let's just take a look at a couple of things together, shall we? So here you have the letter ha. Now, is the letter ha a letter of throat or a letter of tongue?
A letter of tongue.
Okay, try saying ha for me.
Ha.
Amazing. Did you use your tongue to make the sound?
No.
No. So if it's a letter of tongue, you're using your tongue to make the sound. But in this situation, to make the sound of ha, you used your...
Ha.
Yeah, you use your throat. Okay, so it's a letter of throat. And in particular, the sound comes from the middle of the throat. So what you're going to say is hatta. Can you try saying that for me?
Hatta.
Well done, mashallah. That was very, very nicely recited. And a quick reminder, your timing was spot on in most cases. Just this part here, the ya carries a fatha. Can you see that?
Yes.
Amazing. Now, how long should you prolong a letter for if it carries a fatha?
1 second.
Good, well done. 1 second or 1 count. So remember to not stretch out the sound here. It's just got a fatha. It's a short stroke. So we will just give it a 1 second timing. Okay? So if you could repeat this verse after me, I'm going to recite it and you can repeat after me, okay? لا يؤمنون
لا يؤمنون
به
به
حتى حتى.
حتى
Well done. The ha sound was spot on. يروا العذاب الأليم.
يروا العذاب الأليم.
Good. Very, very nicely recited, mashallah. And just before we let you go, quick question. In this verse here, let me just get rid of the highlight here. There we go. In this verse here, you saw a vowel with a hamza carrying a sukoon. Could you see that?
Yes.
Amazing. What did you do in that situation? What sound did you make?
Like a jerking sound.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You make a soft jerking sound. Well done. But did you pronounce the letter vowel or the letter hamza in this situation?
Hamza.
Good. Well done. Because hamza is on top of the vowel, it will take priority. All right, amazing. Well done. That was really, really nicely recited, student G2721. I can see you've understood the rule of the day today. If there's one thing I could recommend, then it's just going over your throat letters or your Arabic letters in general and trying to get the right pronunciation. So giving the correct sounds to each of those letters if possible. Is that all right?
Yes.
Amazing. Well, Jazakumullah for coming to the mic today, student G2721. Take care of yourself and Allah Hafiz for now.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Okay, co-host, can we have another student to the mic, please?
And student G2691, come to the mic, please.
Jazakumullah. Student G2691.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you doing today?
Good, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Very, very good to know. Did you understand the rule of the day today?
Yes.
Good. Very, very good to know. Now, do you want to start off with the Awud and Tasniya? And if you start reciting from here for me, I'll pause you wherever necessary, okay?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فيقولوا هل نحن منظرين أفبعذابنا يستعجلون أفرأيت إن متعناهم سنين.
Good. Well done, mashallah. I'm going to stop you right here. That was really, really nicely recited, student G2691. Great recitation overall. There wasn't much I could pick up from your recitation only because you got the timing spot on. In most of the situations, your pronunciation of each letter was correct as well, which is amazing. So there's just a couple of things I would like to point out. First of all, over here, can you see the ra?
Yes.
And it carries a? Good, well done. So I think you said munzareen. Remember, it carries a dhamma and there is a vowel sakin, so you're going to stretch the sound out. You're going to say munzarun. Can you try saying that for me?
منظرون.
Well done, mashallah. Why did we stretch out the sound of the ra, even though it carries a dhamma? Why did we do that?
Because there's a full stop.
Not entirely. Remember, whenever you see a vowel sakin, okay, and the letter that's joining to a vowel sakin carries a dhamma, you need to stretch the sound out of that letter for 2 counts or 2 seconds, okay? So in this situation, there is a vowel sakin. Oh, that's a bit too long, that. Vowel sakin, yeah? And the letter before it carries a dhamma, doesn't it?
Yes.
So we shall stretch the sound out for 2 seconds or 2 counts, and the vowel sakin turns into a vowel mud. What does it turn into?
A vowel mud.
Amazing. Now, mud is an Arabic word. Do you know what mud means?
To prolong.
Yeah, well done. Amazing. So to prolong. which is why we changed the name from vowel sakin to vowel mud. It's the vowel that's causing a letter to be prolonged, so vowel mud, and mud means to lengthen or to prolong. So that's what we are doing here, okay? So well done. And just a quick question before I let you go. This meme and this the carry this W-like sign. Do you know what this sign is called? These two signs. Do you know what they're called? Okay, no worries. So they're called a shadda.
Shadda.
Yes, absolutely. So they're called a shadda. And what should you do if a letter carries a shadda?
You join it.
Yep, you join it, but most importantly, you put pressure on the letter, more emphasis, okay? So if you hear me out here once more, إِمَّتَّعْنَاهُمْ. Did you notice that when I was reciting it, I put a lot of pressure on the meme and the ta?
Yeah.
Yep, and that is because they carry a?
Shadda.
Good, well done. Very, very nicely remembered. Okay, well, Jazakumullah for coming to the mic today, student G2691. I would say for you, just practice the terminologies, okay? You know what rules to apply. I feel like you're just naturally good at that. You know what to do, but it's very important to know the terminology as well, so that in the future, if you were to explain the rules to someone, you know how to explain it to them and you understand it for yourself as well, okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, Jazakumullah for coming to the mic today, student G2691. That was really nice recited. Keep practicing. Take care of yourself, and Allah Hafiz for now. Amazing. Could I please have another student to the mic, co-host?
Student G2650, unmute their mic.
Student G2650, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah for asking. So did you understand the rule for today?
Yes.
Good. If you see a vowel and it carries a hamza, what letter do you pronounce, the vowel or the hamza?
The Hamza.
Good, well done. The animations there weren't that great, but I'm glad you got the answer correct. So good. I can see you've understood the rules so far. Now, do you want to start off with ta'awudh and tasmiyah? And you can start reciting from here for me, okay?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم جاءهم ما كانوا يوعدون ما أغنى عنهم ما كانوا يمتعون وما أهلكنا من قرية إلا لها منذرون.
Well done, mashallah, mashallah. That was really, really nicely recited, student G2650. A very, very good recitation. You've got a good pace to your recitation as well. And, you know, you tried your best to apply all the rules, which is amazing. There's just a couple of things I would like to point out for you today. First of all, we recently just spoke about the word mud. Were you here when we were talking about that? So do you know what the word mud means?
No.
Okay, no worries. So the word mud is an Arabic word and it means to lengthen or to prolong. What does the word mud mean?
To lengthen and to prolong.
Yeah, well done. So this vowel sakin, can you see it here?
Yes.
Is an example of the rule of mud, okay? And I'll explain to you why. Whenever there is a vowel sakin, so a vowel with the sukoon, and the letter joining to it carries a dhamma, in particularly a dhamma, you need to stretch the sound out for 2 seconds or 2 counts. So even though this ya only carries a dhamma, and we normally say to ourselves, any letter carrying a fatha dhamma kasra, you give it a 1 second timing. But because it's joining to a vowel sakin, which is one of your letters of elongation, letters of mad, is haruful madda letters, you're going to stretch the sound out for 2 seconds or 2 counts. So rather than saying yu'adun, you're going to stretch the sound out. You're going to say yu'adun. Can you try saying that for me?
Yu'adun.
Well done, mashallah. And this vowel sakin now turns into a vowel mad. What does mad mean?
To length and prolong.
Yeah, to stretch the sound out, to prolong something. So this vowel sakin turned into a vowel mad. In other words, it turned from a normal vowel sakin into a vowel that's causing a letter to be prolonged. So this vowel sakin caused the letter ya to be prolonged for how many seconds?
2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, 2 was correct, definitely. So 2 seconds or 2 counts, okay? And you're applying the same rule here as well, sorry, around here. Can you see that? There is a vowel sakin. The letter before it carries a dhamma. How long are we going to prolong the noon for?
2 seconds or 2 counts.
Good, well done. So can you recite this this verse here for me, but make sure you apply the rule of vowel mad here?
Okay. Ma akhna an humma kanu yumatta'un.
Well done. That was really, really nicely recited. And this time you also gave the correct timing here. So well done. And a quick reminder, this noon carries a vertical fatha. Can you see that?
Yep.
How long should you prolong a letter for if it carries a vertical fatha on top?
2 seconds.
Absolutely. Well done. So make sure to stretch the sound out of the noon as well. Ma aghna. Try saying that for me.
Ma aghna.
Good, well done. And just last thing I'm going to point out, and that is this letter Ain, okay? Now, is the letter Ain a letter of tongue or a letter of throat?
Letter of throat.
Good, well done. And the sound of Ain comes from the middle of the throat in particular, okay? So try to give the right sound. Anhum.
Anhum.
Well done. That was really, really nicely recited. So these are the only couple of things I wanted to point out. Overall, your recitation is really, really good. I'm very pleased with your recitation. I just want you to practice your letters of elongation, which include alif, vav, and ya, and when to prolong letters, when to prolong those letters whenever these haruful mad letters come. And I also would like you to just to go over your throat letters as well. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yes, amazing. Well, Jazakumullah for coming to the mic, student G2 650. That was really, really nicely recited. Take care of yourself and Allah Hafiz for now.
Khadafis.
Allah Hafiz. Okay. So let's have another student to the mic, co-host.
And student G2 630, come to the mic, please.
Jazakumullah. Student G2 630. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah for asking. So, did you understand the rule today?
Yeah.
Good, perfect. Very, very good to know. Now, do you want to start off with the Awud and Tasmiyah? And if I could request you to start reciting from here for me, please.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ذكرى وما كنا ظالمين وما تنزلت به الشياطين وما ينبغي لهم وما يستطيعون.
Well done, mashallah. I'm going to stop you right here, student G2 630. That was really, really nicely recited, mashallah. Good recitation. You've also got a very good pace. And overall, I think the pronunciation of your letters in most situations was correct. There's just a couple of things I want to point out. Let's start off with this letter here. What letter is this?
Dhal.
Good, well done. Now you made the absolute right sound for it. Remember, a lot of people say za, and that would be the wrong sound to make. Remember, this is the letter za. It's a ra with a dot on top. And this is the letter dhal. So if you can repeat after me, dhikra.
Zikra.
Well done, very nicely recited. The next thing I wanted to point out is again a rule of mud. Do you know what the word mud means?
I forgot.
Okay, so the word mud means to lengthen or to prolong. What does it mean?
To length or pronounce.
Prolong, as in to stretch.
Prolong.
Yeah?
Okay.
So, amazing. So, alif is one of your haruf al-madda letters, okay? So, whenever you see a blank alif and the letter right before it carries a fatha, you stretch the sound out for 2 seconds or 2 counts. And what you end up doing is you end up converting the blank alif into an alif mud. Now remind yourself that mud means to prolong, doesn't it? To stretch the sound out of something. So if we're changing into an alif mud, it means that it's an alif that's causing a letter to be prolonged. Hence why we give the name alif mud. So rather than saying wama, you're going to stretch the sound out of the meme. And you're going to say, وَمَا كُنَّا. Can you try saying that for me?
وَمَا كُنَّا.
Well done. So can you remind me why we stretched out the sound of the noon here?
Because it's the like shadda, the top.
Shadda doesn't cause you to prolong the sound. It just causes you to put pressure. Remember, there's a blank alif, and the letter before it carries a fatha. So you stretch the sound out for how many seconds?
For 2 seconds.
Good, well done. 2 seconds or 2 counts. Well done. I can see you've thought of getting the grip of that rule. Very, very good. Now, over here, this is the letter ya. Remember, if it was a ba, it would just be 1 dot. So, yamba. Try saying that for me.
Yanba.
Good. And we're giving the sound of the meme. Yamba.
Yamba.
Well done, mashallah. So that was really, really nicely recited, students not 62, G2 630. Great recitation overall. My recommendation would be for you to go over the rule of letters of elongation, which is alif, vav, and ya, and practice that. And to help you, you could watch the YouTube videos. We post these classes on YouTube as well. You can watch that. Or you can access the Talimul-Quran syllabus, which is the PDF files that we use when we're teaching these rules. You can find that in the Talimul-Quran, and I would really, really, really urge you to go through that if possible, okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, Jazakumullah for coming to the mic today. Take care of yourself, and Allah Hafiz for now.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Okay, co-host, could we have another student to the mic?
Can student G2 658 come to the mic, please?
Okay, student G2 658. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah for asking. So, did you understand the rule today?
Yes.
Yeah. So, if there is a vowel or a ya that carries a hamza, what letter sound do you make? Do you make the sound of the hamza or the sound of vowel and ya?
Hamza.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll show you an example quickly. Can you see here? There is a vowel with a hamza.
Yes.
So we ignore the vowel and we make the sound of the hamza. So that was the rule for today. Now, could you please start off with the awud and tasmiya? And if I could request you to start reciting from here for me, please.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنهم أني نسى سمع إلا معزولون فلا تدعوا مع الله إلها آخر فتكن من المعذبين وإن
وأنذر
وأنذر عشيرتك الأقربين.
Well done, mashallah, mashallah. I'm going to stop you right here, student G2 658. That was really, really nicely recited. Once again, great recitation. And what I really like is that you've given a round mouth on all the letters that carried that were thick and heavy sounding letters. For example, you recited the ra and the kha really nicely. You gave the kha a round mouth, which is good. And I can see you're understanding which letters are your thick letters and which are your thin letters. So that's really, really good. Now, just one or two things I wanted to point out. First of all, this meme, what letter is it joining to?
The Ain.
Good. So rather than saying lama and stretching the sound out, you're just going to join the ayn and the meme together and give the sound of ayn from the middle of the throat. So you're going to say لَمَعْزُولُونَ.
لَمَعْزُولُونَ.
Well done, mashallah. And your sound of ayn is spot on as well. Good. Quick reminder, today we've been talking about the rule of mad as well. Or we've been talking about the huruf al-madda letters. Do you know what the word mad means?
It means to lengthen or prolong.
Yes, absolutely. Well done. So we learned that when there is a vowel sakin and the letter joining to it carries a dhamma, we need to stretch the sound out for 2 seconds or for 2 counts. Okay. And that is because the vowel sakin changes into a
hamza.
No, the vowel sakin will change into a vowel mud. Okay, so vowel mud, we mean that it's the letter vowel that's causing a letter to be prolonged. Mud means to prolong, doesn't it? So we are stretching the sound out of the ka, we are prolonging the sound out of the kaf for 2 seconds. And here is the rule of vowel mud. So we're going to say fatakuna.
Fatakuna.
Well done. And we stretch the sound out over here. Amazing. And last thing here, this is a letter dhal. Your pronunciation for most of the letters was spot on. It's just this letter I wanted to point out. So, you know, like the English word the, like the house or the car, that's the kind of sound we are making here. So if you can repeat after me. Mu'adhabin.
Mu'adhabin.
Well done. So make sure to give the right sound of the dhal over here, which you've beautifully done now. So that was really, really nicely recited, student G2 658. Great recitation overall. Keep practicing. In particular, I want you to go over your letters of elongation. Okay? All right. Well, Jazakumullah for coming to the mic. Take care of yourself, and Allah Hafiz for now.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Okay, so that was all that we could go through today in terms of the practice text. Could I just remind everybody that when you are not called to the mic, still pay attention, still try and recite along as we are reciting, as well as your fellow classmates are reciting. Follow along, and please make sure you're listening and paying attention, because a lot of the times I do have to repeat myself quite a lot, even though I would have mentioned a specific rule a couple of times already. I will still have some people that say they either forgot or they don't know. So make sure you're paying attention and you're listening to every word that's said in the classes, okay? So let's now just quickly take a look at the last part of our class today, which is hard words, okay? And these are words that we've gone through during this week anyway, so I'm just going to go through them one by one and just point out a few things, okay? So let's read out the first word here. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يبايعنك. يبايعنك. So first of all, the sound of ayn comes from the middle of the throat, okay? So try to remember that. It's a throat letter. Don't give a jerking sound and say yeah, just yeah. Yeah, I know it doesn't sound too different because with the mics it doesn't help, but in real life you would hear the difference a lot more. And second of all, you need to stretch the sound out of the b for 2 seconds because of the blank alif. There's a blank alif, letter before it carries a fatha, so we stretch the sound out for 2 seconds. Next, we're going to go over this example. يصعد. يصعد. Again, we need to remind ourselves that if a letter carries a shadda, which is this little W sign here, if any letter carries this little W-like sign, also known as a shadda, we need to prolong that sound for 2 seconds, not for 2 seconds, we need to put pressure. Sorry about that, I'm confusing you all now. So if there's a shadda on top of a letter, you put pressure on the letter, okay? You join it as well, but you put a lot of pressure. So if you could hear it again, يصعد. I put pressure on the sod and the ayn, and that is because they carry a shadda. Okay? And remember to give a round mouth of the sod because it is one of the thick and heavy sounding letters. Next over here, mahattu. Mahattu. So the meme is joining to the ha and the ha is joining to the ta. Remember, these letters carry a shadda. So what are you going to do? Put pressure on them. And second of all, you fully ignored the dal over here. And why did we do that? Because whenever you have a shadda, it will join to the most recent mutaharrik letter, and it will always be we will always give it more priority than a jazm or a sukoon. So whenever there's a shadda and a jazm together, you will always recite the shadda. It's more powerful in that sense. So mahattu, joining the ha to the ta, not the dal. And I believe this is the last one. Kal'ihni. So again, the sound of ayn comes from the middle of the throat, so make sure to give it the right sound. Ihni, all right? A lot of people say ihni. Remember, you're giving a downward sound. Ihni, all right? And that was the next part. Okay, so that's our hard words completed, alhamdulillah. And now we are going to take a look at our homework. So in today's class, we went through Hamza on Vaw and Hamza on Ya. And before I actually do go over the homework, can I remind everybody to go into the chat box and find the link and submit in your attendance if you haven't done so already. The link for that is in the chat box, okay? and now we'll continue with the homework. So remember, if you see a Hamza on a vowel or a Hamza on a ya, you will always make the sound of the Hamza. It's on top of the letter, it will take priority, okay? And if you've had any difficulties trying to understand that rule today, you can access this lesson in our Talimul-Quran book as well, lesson number 22, which you can find on page 91. We also went through the practice text, chapter number 26, verses 202 to 228. We couldn't complete that, but we did majority of that. And as part of your homework, you've been asked to practice today's verses, okay? Make sure you apply all the rules you've learned so far within your daily tilawat and pay close attention to how you pause and when you pause, all right? It's very important you do that. Now, as long as, even though you're supposed to be revising the rule for today, I also want you all to go over the rules covered previously. So on Monday, you went through blank vowel. Tuesday, you went through miniature noon. Wednesday, you went through blank alif. And today, you went through Hamza on vowel and Hamza on ya. So I want you all to pay close attention to not just the rule taught today, but the rules taught previously as well. Make sure to apply all the rules to your recitation. And a quick reminder, we have reached the end of our G2 course, alhamdulillah, and we've got our concluding session tomorrow, inshallah. So if you could all attend, that would be amazing, okay? And, you know, it'd be great to see you all there. You've come so far along, so it's only right you come and attend the concluding session because you deserve it, okay? Now, we're going to conclude our class today with a closing prayer. And if I could request our co-host to call a student to the mic.
Go student G2. Sorry, 1 second.
So,
Student G2 692, come to the mic, please.
Assalamualaikum.
wa alaikum salam. How are you doing today?
Good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm good too, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah for asking. So could you please start off with the Abud and Tasmiyah? And if you could start reciting from here for me, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم ارحمني بالقرآن العظيم واجعله لي إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة.
Well done, mashallah. That was really, really nicely recited. And could you also read out the English translation for us?
O Allah, have mercy on me. Since the Quran the great, and make it for me the leader, the light, and the guidance, the mercy.
Perfect. Well done. That was really, really nicely recited. Student G2 692. Jazakumullah for coming to the mic. Take care of yourself and Allah Hafiz for now.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay, so that was it for today, everybody. Jazakumullah to everybody for attending the class today. It's been a pleasure to teach you all, and I'm very, very happy with how hard you guys have worked and have improved during the course of this term. So it's been a pleasure teaching you all. And obviously, never forget all the rules you've learned. Keep practicing them and keep revising them and keep reciting the Holy Quran on daily basis, okay? That was it for today. Inshallah, we'll see you in our concluding session tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.